We would like to welcome our speaker, Kailash Pathak. He is a senior QA lead manager at Three Pillar Global. Kailash would be delivering an interactive talk session on build AI agents to speed up UI and API testing with Playwright MCP. To know more about Kailash, please check the given link. Handing over to you, Kailash. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So, thank you, Asita. So, first of all, so shall I start?
Kailash, do you want to come on camera?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, I can start, right?
Yes, please take over.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, I want to say thanks to GTR team. So, for to inviting me continuously in the second time, and I want to say thanks to Aditya and his team so to giving me this opportunity second time. So, I will whatever I deliver, it will be really going to be helpful to the team. And I'm in the audience, though those are joined actually across the different location. So basically today topic is on my topic is on MCP. So I think after this session, two more topic, I think in the MCP. So you guys going to learn a lot of thing about the MCP. So I would say it's a very buzzword nowadays actually. So we are very excited about the MCP, how we can leverage this MCP in our project and how we can reuse this in our live project, right? So in this session, I am going to just cover about the MCP and how we can use the MCP in our live project. So basically, there are some basically constant definitely, so we can use or not. But yeah, I will explain in detail. So let me quickly share my screen. So I hope you guys able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Thank you. So again, I'm very excited for this event. So I want to say thanks to the team inviting me. So my topic is on build AI agent, right, for the UI and API testing. So normally there are a lot of questions around the MCP. So even I got many questions in the LinkedIn almost every day, like how we can use leverage. First of all, actually, we have to use MCP or not in our project, right? So there are a lot of questions around. And the second is, can we use the MCP in our project, live project, right? So I will, before jumping to the basically in detail, so I want to just mention here the agenda actually, what the agenda. So I will explain about I will give a brief introduction about the LLM model. So how we can use the LLM model in the software testing. And then understanding of the MCP model context protocol, and I will also explain what are the limitations, why basically MCP, why we need MCP. Is it possible without MCP we can do what we can do, what we cannot do? Why we require MCP actually, right? So why is so popular actually MCP, right? And then I will introduce about the Playwright MCP, and then how we can build the agent, AI agent, right? So in basically we can use different LLM or client actually, like we have Claude, we have VS Code, and we have Cursor, right? And then finally, I will give some example of how we can do the automation, UI automation with the help of MCP, and how we can do our API testing, how we can leverage those MCPs in our basically in for the API testing, right? So first of all, introduction to the LLM model. So if you guys know, I think most of us know, we in our daily work we are using the basically various LLM models, right? So ChatGPT definitely it's one of the popular LLM model. Then Claude is there, Gemini, LLM, Llama from the Meta, right? And basically LLM model we normally be using or in our daily activities. Whether if I talk about from the testing perspective, so if I talk about the software testing life cycle, right? So in each stage of the software life cycle, basically we use these LLM model actually, right? So it's from whether from the requirement gathering, right? Where the basically POs help those LLMs to basically when we get the when the POs get the highly requirement from the stakeholder, they can leverage those LLM models to generate to make the requirement actually, right? And then from the testing perspective, basically the first step of the software lifecycle, testing lifecycle is the requirement understanding, right? So once we have the requirement from the PO, then we can leverage these LLM models, right, to understand the requirement because suppose we have a 50 page document, right? So in the past, actually, if I talk about 10 to 15 year back, so we normally the requirement come in the form of the functional requirement document. We got the from the client, and we have around most of the requirement actually 50, 60, 70 pages, and then we go each on every pages. So those were that was the time actually 10 to 15 years back, right? But nowadays actually after the agile things have changed actually. So now the requirement come in the same form, but from the testing perspective, from the QA perspective, it's come in the form of storage actually, right? So product owner or business analyst will create the storage from the in Jira board or whatever the tool they are using for the requirement management. And then we start from the testing perspective, we start writing our test cases with the help of with the help of this requirement. And here the LM model come into the picture where we can generate the test cases with the help of those LLM model actually. And in the past, actually, it take a good time to create the test case. And now with the help of LLM, just we have to give some prompt, like create the requirement. This is the requirement document, and just we have to ask actually, okay, I need the positive or negative test cases for this scenario. So within a minute, they will provide all the test cases. But yes, the whatever the response that we got in the form of test cases, we have to cross check it whether it's correct or not. We cannot depend 100% on those model actually, right? Even sometime the data that come basically it's not valid actually, right? So we have to be very conscious actually when we use those LLM model for test case creation. This is the just I would say this is the just a beginning point for test case creation. Then when the test case is created, then we can leverage those LLM model for our automation script, writing the automation script definitely. And then execution also there, but with the help of LLM, execution is not possible. So let me come to the next slide, then I will explain what the reason why what are the limitation actually. So right now LLM model, as I already explained, so we are using for maintaining the document, or you can say document creation, right? Generating the test data, and then generating the test case, test script, right? And then detecting the bugs. So suppose we have to, we can create the script, and even we can use these LLM model for the debugging purpose also. So definitely we are using these LLM model I think most of us we are using these LLM model, but there are some limitation in these LLM models, right? So the LLM model, so what are the limitation actually? So one of the big limitation of LLM model is that LLM can think but they cannot act, right? So that is the reason we require something in between so that we can interact with the browser actually. So that is the place where MCP come into the picture actually. So MCP is nothing model context protocol, right? So with the help of this MCP, because we do not have the, suppose we do not have the MCP, we cannot open the browser, we cannot connect with the database actually, right? With the help of LLM. So even if you write today, if you write in the LLM, in any of the LLM model, suppose I want to open, navigate to this page, or I want to open this page. So it will give a message actually, I cannot perform this action, because the reason is that is the limitation of LLM. So that is the reason we require something, so that we call it the MCP actually, model context protocol, that help us to perform the action. And with the help of this, we can do the browser automation, we can do database operation. These are basically normally we use in our automation actually. So that I mentioned only, we can do many things, but normally we do the browser automation, we do database operation we have to perform. We can do the API integration, even we can do visual testing also. Accessibility testing we also cover with the help of, there are many MCP nowadays that help us to in the accessibility testing, right? So let's understand the MCP. What is MCP actually? So model context protocol developed by Anthropic, the company, right? So create a constant method for the LLM, like so LLM model, like maybe it may be like Claude, or it may be Cursor, or it may be VS Code. So that help us to interact with the external system. That we cannot do with the help of LLM, actually, right? Suppose I have to interact with the browser, I have to interact with the database, I have to interact with some external APIs. So that we can do with the help of LLM plus MCP actually. So that's the reason I have mentioned here LLM plus MCP to read and act actually. So with the help of LLM, we can only just it will give the answer actually of our question. Suppose we ask some query, or we ask to create a document, they can give us a document in the readable form. But if you ask, okay, I want to execute these steps, it will not actually, it not be possible with the help of LLM. So that is the reason we require the MCP actually, right? So basically, this is a high level architecture of the LLM, sorry, MCP. So here you can see we have the host actually. So host mean we have Claude, we have Cursor, we have WinSub, and we have basically VS Code, right? This is the basically our client, and this is the MCP protocol here, and these are the MCP server. MCP server can be anything. Basically, it might be Playwright, it might be Cypress, Selenium, or it may be any MySQL MCP also, right? So MCP host basically like Cloud Desktop, Cursor, and basically VS Code. And client basically, in the client basically is a basically protocol that maintain one-to-one connection between the server actually, right? This is the MCP protocol actually. And local data structure. So how the flow gone actually? So let me explain with the next slide. So how the basically it work actually. So you see, if you see here, this is the one of the pick I picked from the Google. So this is our AI model, and MCP client is here. So when we say MCP client or AI model, it means it's a Claude, or it may be a Cursor, it may be a VS Code, right? So when we give any command actually, right? So before coming to this, actually, let me explain with the basically what is the Playwright MCP. Otherwise, it might get confuse you. So if you see here, so from the Microsoft team have created this MCP, basically Playwright MCP, right? And they have done this basically setting. I will come into later on. But if you see in the bottom, they have provided certain tools to us actually. So what are the tool actually? Tool are nothing but basically just kind of, you can say, kind of function actually. So suppose I want to interact with the browser, right? So after opening the browser, I have to fill something, I have to click something, I have to drag and drop, I have to upload something. So for that, those all the functionality they have provided couple of actually tools, or you can say functions. So like browser click, browser close, they have provided drag and drop. You can see here, right? File upload and file navigation is there, run and right. So there are so many, and even the for the screenshot here, you can capture the screenshot. Snapshot testing you can do with the help of Playwright MCP, right? Tab management, they have just provided the tab management also, browser interaction, right? And so these are the kind of tool. Tool is nothing but this kind of, you can think like a kind of function that help us to interact with the browser and perform the various action in the browser actually, clicking, selecting, drag and drop, upload. So these are the kind of, basically these are the tool, or you can say it's a function actually, right? So if you see here in this diagram, so what happened when when we do any request, suppose I want to open a browser and I want to click on a button actually. So how the request go from left to right actually. So I do request for, I want, suppose I say, okay, I want to click. So this is I send from here, click request. It go from MCP client to this through the JSON RPC. This is the RPC is nothing but it's a stateless. This is the protocol that interact with the player MCP, and then it check, okay, I want to click. Do you have this tool in your basically in your plate? So it will check in the Playwright MCP. So again, this is for the click. It might be for the select. It might be for the drag and drop. So this way, every request go from left to right, and then it will check here all the thing. Okay, whether this tool exists here or not. If it not exist, then it will again it will back to the this MCP client. Okay, the request you have done it not exist at my end. If it exists, then it will go to the browser and it will perform all the thing. Basically, suppose I have requested here for the click, so it will click on the button, or you can say radio button or checkbox or whatever the requirement we have. And one good thing here is that it will capture the accessibility tree snapshot for that actually. So if you see, when you do perform any of the action, I will show you in the demo. When you perform any of the action, it will, for each or every action, it will capture the accessibility tree. Accessibility tree is just like a DOM actually. It keep all the data in his you can say it's like it's save at his at his end actually, right? So accessibility is nothing but it's a kind of DOM. So when I say, okay, I have to click on this button, so all the activity actually, basically all the click element actually, whatever required for the click and whatever the HTML he has required to perform, it will keep as a accessibility tree snapshot actually. And once it's done, then it perform back to the MCP client, right? So this is the basically how high level basically how the MCP work. So here I explain the same thing actually. So clicking on the button, it send a request like I want to click, I want to select, I want to drag and drop, right? Then MCP client wrap the request and send in the Playwright MCP server via JSON wrap call. This is the protocol which is right that help us to basically interact with the server. And then Playwright MCP server receive the method and argument and then use the Playwright API to execute the action but in the real browser actually, right? And then the browser perform the action and finally it will capture the accessibility tree of that particular action that we have performed actually, right? So this is about the Playwright MCP, how it work actually. So some example of the MCP. So we have PostgreSQL MCP server, we have MySQL, we have Selenium MCP server, GitHub MCP server, we have Playwright MCP server, we have, right? We have Docker MCP server. So we have, and these are the very limited, and we have n number of MCP servers. So it depend upon what MCP server we want to integrate. Just integrate those MCP in your with the LLM model, and you can make your AI agent actually. So before moving to the AI and how we build the AI agent, basically, so what happened? Let me go to this one of my blog that I have written, so I can explain easily. I will show you in the I'm the code also, but I want to explain here. So I have explained here all the basically I would say all the clients. So first start with the VS Code. So in the VS Code, what we have to do? So once you open the VS Code, right? So in the setting.json file, right? You have to enter this entry actually. You have to insert the following JSON structure in your root object actually. So and where this come, this is come from here actually. If you see this is from the Microsoft Playwright MCP, right? And there is one more MCP server that created by one of the guy Karthik. So apart from, so basically in the Microsoft MCP they providing for the UI on some more thing, but this MCP server also provide for the database. It also provide for the basically interaction with the API also. So you can integrate any of the MCP server. It's up to you, right? You want to integrate this MCP server or you want to integrate with the Playwright MCP. If you want to perform only the UI automation, you can just only integrate this Playwright MCP server. Okay. So you can see here, right? So if you see here, this is for the VS Code, and similarly, I will show you in a minute. So you can see, let me quickly go to the here actually. So this is my VS Code, and I already integrated the Playwright MCP. So if I click here, so you can see here I already integrated this Playwright MCP. So these are the tool actually that I just discussed. Browser click here, browser close, browser console, browser drag and drop, right? So these are all the tools, or you can say method, or you can say function that help us to basically run the basically help to execute the all the step in the browser actually, right? So how the configuration we have done actually, we have to just basically go here and we have to just write, we have to open the mcp.json file here, and you can see in the line number 6 I have just mentioned this is from the Playwright Microsoft actually, and this MCP server, right? And you can ignore this one, and there is one more one, there is another one. This is from the another guy actually that I mentioned actually, Karthik actually, right? So these are I have mentioned basically both the basically MCP server here, right? And similarly, we also I have also here the GitHub MCP server. I will show you the demo of the GitHub also, right? Similarly, I have the basically for the MCP server for the SQL also MySQL here, right? This is the MySQL MCP server that will help us to interact with the database actually, and I will show you the demo in a few minutes, next few minutes. So this is all about this. So in the cloud, if you do not want to use basically the VS Code, you can use the cloud, and in the cloud you have to do just this configuration. Just open this file and just mention this actually to integrate your MCP with the LLM model. Similarly, you can do integration with the cursor also. So in the cursor, you have to mention, you have to open this mcp.json. So let me quickly show you in the cloud actually. I can use so in the cloud. So in the cloud, you can see I already integrated MySQL, GitHub, and Playwright. So if I open this, you can see here all the command. Playwright fill here, Playwright iframe here, right? These command, these are the tool basically, right? Tool or command you can say, right? So all these tool or all these methods will help us to basically to run our test cases in the browser actually. So let me quickly start with one of the demo actually. So first question is basically normally the question come from the folks actually. Do we have to use the MCP or not, or even we have to use in the production or not? We can use or not. So answer is yes, definitely we can do. We can use those MCP in our daily activity, or even basically even if you want to integrate the GitHub with the GitHub, you can do. But again, it depend upon the client actually. So because if you are doing, because ultimately you have to you have to type prompt or something into the chat window, right? Suppose you want to create a page object model, right? You have to provide all the prompt in the chat window, right? So we have to make sure and first of all we have to check with our company, like they how they want to deploy actually those MCP. So some of the company normally from the security perspective, what they do, they deploy these MCP model in on premise actually, so that if so that basically data leakage and basically privacy can be basically maintained. And some people, what they do, they will keep all these model behind the firewall actually, right? So in the firewall they do some setting like that. Suppose if someone try to send some sensitive data through the prompt. Suppose I am basically I am logged into the application, and I have provided my user ID and password, then they will restrict those type of thing here, right? So it depend upon company to company. So if the answer to the question, we can use in the MCP in the production or into the live, answer is yes, we can use, but depend upon the requirement and the client, how sensitive data is from the client. And we have to make sure when we do the prompting, when we ask any of the question to the LLM model, we have to keep the sensitive data properly, so that like the password is there, right? Access token is there, right? So suppose we are integrating with the GitHub action. Suppose there is a scenario. Suppose there is a scenario, I have created my page object model with the help of MCP, and now I want to push that code into the GitHub action, right? GitHub action CI/CD. So in that case, there are a couple of things, like we have to pass personal access token to create we have to create the personal access token to integrate with the GitHub action, right? So we have to make sure like our personal token, we can keep our personal access token to be secure, right? It might be behind the firewall, it might be behind the weekly, we can keep in the some sensitive information in the particular way. So again, depend upon the how your company want to do basically. So before using MCP in your live project, it's a kind of recommendation. Concern with your seniors, concern with your manager, concern with your system admin team. Okay, I want to use MCP for this project. So in case, so how we can use it? So how we can keep our sensitive data? So you can ask those type of question with the system admin team, with your manager, or with your team before using it. And make sure prompting is the main thing when you use the MCP. Please do not provide any sensitive data. And if you have to mandatory kind of thing, then you can tweak your data, right? So this way actually you can use MCP, and definitely these are the basically they really helpful basically. So the thing I remember, I mean 2 year or 3 year back, whatever the time basically we require for creating any of the, I mean, I would say automating the test cases, it takes about 3 to 4 days. Nowadays we can do it quickly fast. But again, one more thing, whatever the script they are generating, we have to make sure that whatever the script generated, we have to cross check each and every line actually. That is the mandatory. Sometimes people, what they do, they just do the basically they use like they're using Claude or Git Copilot or something, and they just copy and paste and then push the code. So it might be basically, it might sometimes it create a problem, because if there is some information leak and client catch it, so it might create a problem. So we have to be make sure, right? Okay. So let me quickly go to the one quick demo. So first demo basically, I want to start with the basically suppose I want to create a page object model, right, using a Playwright and MCP, right? So as I mentioned, I already integrated this MCP server here, right? Okay, and I created the Git, yeah, I integrated the GitHub MCP, and I also basically Playwright extension is there, and this MCP basically SQL server MySQL is there, right? So for that, what we can do, so this is my Git Copilot, and I hope you already aware about the Git Copilot. And if you want to install the Git Copilot, you go to your extension, and you can just basically just type here and just you can install it actually, right? And once it will install, then you can basically you can see this icon here, open chat, and recent in the recent VS Code release, they have just introduced one more thing here. Previously it was only agent and ask and edit. Now they have introduced one more, basically one more item here, like that is plan actually, right? So this is just basically they just introduce normally, but normally we have to use actually agent, right? And so let me quickly fire this command. So create a page object model, but yes, before this we have to make sure, like suppose we want to create a page object model. So first of all we have to install the Playwright actually, right? So this is the thing that we have to make sure. And let me quickly say that install, because we are creating the page object model in the Playwright, so I have to install the Playwright first. So let me select the JavaScript here, then true, right? So you can see how quickly we can create the page object model with the help of this. So you can see here already we have created this folder structure here. GitHub is there, package.json is there. Now if I trigger this create a page object model for below step using Playwright and JavaScript, right? Open, add a product, and I have just given, I want to enter these values in the first name, and then click on the. So you will see how quickly it, and then I will show you how we can push this code in the GitHub action, and you can just trigger the build. Would you like to me generate all this file? Yes. As I mentioned, I have already integrated the GitHub action. So what I will do, I already created one branch here, right? So I will give this branch name, and I have one more thing. I already set it the personal access token that I cannot want to show here, but you can these are the pre condition actually. First you have to create the one repo, and then you have to create the personal access PAT, personal access token, right? Then let me keep all these files, so you can see here it will creating the page object model. So you can so here you can see all the pages are created here, right? And test also created here. So this is the test. So suppose I want to execute the test case. Let me ask execute. Right. So you will see all the test cases are basically created, right? So things like actually if someone asks you, okay, you have to do the some setup of basically initial setup for the page using page object model. So you can use this. You can leverage the Playwright MCP. And now suppose I want to push this code into the GitHub action because it's working fine in my local. Now I want to push into the GitHub action. So let me run this command. So repo is already created. Personal action token already set. That the two things that you have to do. So I will just say run the push run and so push the code in the remote directory. And if you see here in the meantime it's running here, so you will see it will first remote add origin allow. So you can see git init, right? It will initialize the repo, then it will again adding, right? And then finally it committing here, right? And then finally pushing the code, right? So you can see here code is pushed, and you will see in the GitHub action code is pushed and the build already trigger here, and it will start running here, right? But two things we have to do. First we have Playwright MCP here, we have GitHub action MCP here, and we have to make sure we have git repo and we have the person action token should be set here. So you can,
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, Kailash, go ahead. I think that was a miss.
Okay, okay. No issue. So you can see how easy it basically, right? Right. So you have created your framework. So initially, if you remember, if you 2 year, 3 year back, how much time it will take actually to create all this thing, creating the page object model. Then you have to check the locator of each of the page. Here you can see locator is created of each and every page, login page, product page, right? So everything they are created very fastly, and in within 10 to 15 minutes, we have created our framework. We have the push the code into the GitHub action, and the good thing is the code is push and it will be generated and it will be running in the GitHub action actually. So that is the beauty about this basically Playwright MCP plus man plus GitHub action. So this is one of the use case. So I hope you understand actually. So there are so many questions come actually. We can push, we can generate, we can push. How can we leverage this code basically how can we use the MCP. So you can just simply create your and you can and after that you can if you want to change something here you can basically this is a basic framework, right? If you want to do something you want to take the test data here because it might be possible it will take the hard coded data in somewhere, right? Like if you see here you can see the line number 16. This is not the best approach. We can create a test data file here, our JSON file, right? Similarly for this we can create a JSON file, we can keep our data. You can just simply ask to the GitHub Copilot, please please create a JSON file for all these test case, and then you can push your code and you can basically execute your test case in the GitHub action actually. And here you can see their test case is already running and they will be probably in the few minutes. Yeah, they will pass and Playwright report will be also generated here.
Kailash, I think while you were showing, there were a couple of questions. I'm just bringing it while you're showing your code. You can continue with the demo after that as well. How it gets elements directly?
Sorry.
How does it get the elements directly? Pranay wants to know.
Okay, how it get the element directly basically. Okay, so that is the basically the tool that I mentioned actually, right? So MCP, what the MCP do actually, Playwright, GitHub Copilot and MCP combination, what they will do if I talk about this framework. So if you see here, they will go to the they will create they will start from let me open this site. So this is the site actually, right? So what it will do, so what the prompt I given? I given create a page object model for the below step, open this, log in with this username, right? These are the prompt that I have given actually, right? So what it will do, actually it will go step by step and it was so much smart actually, and it will go, he know actually what is page object model. And in page object model, he know I have to create the page class for each of the pages, like login, like finishing, like checkout page, now cart page, and product page, and for each and every page it keeping the when running it will keeping the screenshot also actually, right? And the answer to the question how it keeping the all the thing basically, it will actually the our Git Copilot and MCP combination is so much smart, they understand actually I have to go with the login each and every page wise, and if I have to go to each and every page wise, then if I have to first I have to create a constructor here. You can see in the line number 2, and then the constructor they will allocate all the locator here first. Then it will create the page wise method actually. For the login page, it will create the go to and login page, right? Login method. Similarly for the product, it will create all this. So it will automatically it will happen behind the scene. We cannot see it, but it will internally what it will do. It will go inside and it will capture the in from the DOM actually, right? It will go to the DOM and it will capture each and every field locator and capture all the locator. He know I need the locator first, then I have to create the method, then I have to call those method, and for that I require the test class here. So you can see here it will import all the pages here, and then it will create the object here. However, this is not the, I mean, this is, I would not say not the best practice. We can use the fixer here as well, right? And then you can see here, it will calling each and every method that he has created actually. So it's an internal process actually, right? That actually, that GitHub Copilot and the MCP will do actually. I hope I am able to answer the question.
Pranay, I hope that helped.
Mhm.
There was another subsequent question, Kailash.
Mhm.
How DOM structures of your application could detect to generate elements?
Sorry, can you come again?
How DOM structure of our application could detect to generate the elements?
Generate the element, generate the element, you mean the locator you are saying?
Prachi, would you want to come on mic and
Yeah.
rephrase the question? Yeah.
Yes, but I think you explained it already. The first question was
Yeah.
almost on those same similar lines. Thank you.
Yeah, so Prachi, actually it's an internal process actually, right? So what it will do, it will do actually Git Copilot and MCP, they know, okay, what is the page object model, and he know, okay, if you have a page object model, they are talking, they are giving me the prompt of the page object model, then I have to create the page class for each of the pages. Then I have to, because if I have a page class, then I need the locator for that, right? And it will go to the DOM and it will capture all the basically all the locate that required actually, right? So that is the thing actually. I hope it's clear, right?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So this way, actually, we can leverage the Playwright, I mean, Playwright MCP and any of the, basically, this is the VS Code. We can use the Cursor, we can use also the Cloud also, right? So this way, we can take the benefit of this basically MCP and we can make our thing fast actually, right? Suppose our team say, okay, I want to create a framework for it, right? So you can just leverage, but again, I would say you have to confirm with your team, your admin team, your manager, okay, can I use the Playwright MCP? Can I? You have to cross check with the team, right? And because the prompt that we are giving, it might be possible, it might be some data issue, might be right from the company. It depend upon the company to company, right? So, but nowadays, normally the company that are purchasing these LLM model and they are licensed, so they are as per them actually. What I know, the basically these are all the models actually, all the model that the LL model, whether it's a Claude, whether it's a VS Code, they are not keeping all these data actually, not saving those data, right? So they are just whatever the data we are basically asking here or whatever question we are asking, they are not saving those data in their database actually as per them. And this is the basically they have in written actually, normally they give in kind of NDA actually, right? So we will not keep, we will not save your data. But again, you have to confirm with your team, your admin team, I want to use the Playwright MCP in my project or Selenium MCP or whatever the tool you are using. Can I use? And you have to give the use case also to them. Okay, for this purpose, I require these thing. Might be I require GitHub Copilot MCP. I might be use the GitHub Copilot, GitHub Action MCP, right? So this is the thing that you can do actually. Okay. So now let's quickly go to the another one. That there is one more scenario here, database actually, right? So what this scenario do, it will I will show this scenario with the help of Claude actually. So what it will do, it will open a source demo, it will log in with you. And one more thing before starting, so I already integrated this MySQL MCP here and Playwright MCP already there, GitHub MCP already there, right? So it will log in with username, password, and thus you can see how much smart it is actually. I have not given here the username and password, but it what it will do, it will automatically capture from here standard user and this is the user and this is the password actually, right? And I'm saying open the card, click on the checkout button, pull the data for the third record. So if you see, I already created this MySQL basically local in my local, right? I have created this table here, checkout table, and I'm saying please pick this data and fill in this page actually. So let me quickly show you. So this way you can also leverage those MCP for the database testing also as well. So I am saying, okay, please add this guy here and go to there and then checkout page, fill this data that is in the third column, this one, right? So that's the same thing I am giving here. So let me execute this. So you will see here, it will open the browser. Though they are very normal scenario, but basically they are actually, but you can leverage those actually uh, in your basically daily I think it will generating the code first. Let it generate the code and then I will ask to execute. Use Playwright MCP and perform. Perform below action. Okay. Okay. Use Playwright MCP and run below lines. Sorry. So what it will do, it will basically, it will open the browser and it will, you can see here, allowance we have to give this. And you will see here, basically I am showing this because for the database connectivity, how you can basically connect your application with the data also, right, from the DB. But again, again saying you have to check with your team, your manager, your admin team, you can use or it or not. So that is a very mandatory step, because sometimes it might be, because right now it's a dummy application, but right, but in actual, when you use it, it might be your dev environment, or it might be your basically QA environment. So but, and company and the client do not want to basically use those credential actually, right? So you have to make sure. So it will adding the, I will take 2 more minutes. So here you can see it already added into the card, right? Then let open the card. You can see here opening the card, and then it will clicking the checkout button. And these all the things that I'm mentioning here in the chat window, you can make a .md file also, right? You don't need to write each every time in the chat window. You just give the in the context, you can use your MD file, and it will automatically run. Now it clicking on the checkout button. So here you can see, now from here it will fill the data from the database, right? So let it fill the data from the database. You can see here, pull the data third record from the checkout table. I hope you are able to see here, right? Let me query the database. So it will querying the database. It will taking some time here. So you can see database name is demo. So this is my demo database here. You can see here the demo database, and it's saying select start from checkout and third record. So it executing the query, and what it will do, it will fill the data in one by one, and it will picking the third record. So this is the beauty of this MCP. So definitely it make our life easy and it make fast. But one more thing I want to say, sometimes it might be frustrating. Sometimes the when you not do give the correct prompt, it might get you might get frustrated. Actually, the response that come, it sometimes it will give unnecessary code to you. Here you can see Emily, Stone, and whatever data we have given in the third record, it will already fill here, right? This third record. And finally, it will click on the continue button. Here you can see, right? It will slow actually, but yeah, but if you purchase the license and all, definitely it will going to be bit fast, and also depend upon the internet also, because I am taking the call from the mobile. Actually, I am not at my home. So you can see here already click, and then it will click on the continue button, and finally it will click on the finish button, right? So this way you can leverage Playwright MCP, I would say Selenium MCP or Cypress MCP, whatever you want. You can create the basic framework, you can push your code, and you can run it. You can just, if suppose client say, okay, I need a POC, right? So in that case, what you can do, you can leverage those type of MCP. It might be a Selenium or whatever your client want, right? And you can quickly show in one, or you do not need to create the framework from the start or scratch, or previously it will take good amount of time, 3 or 4 or 5 days or 1 week, but nowadays in the same day you can say, okay, I will create a basic framework, and you can leverage this Playwright MCP or any of the MCP or Cypress MCP or Selenium MCP, and you can showcase to your customer or your client, and this way you can speed up your work, and also help the client to deploy the application into the production fast actually. Yeah. So this way you can see, so the finally it will this is the last step, verify the message. Thank you for your order, it verifying it, and this is the, yeah, here it is, thank you for the order. Okay. So this way you can leverage the MCP. So MCP is not bad, I would say, but yes, you have to be smart. You have to use smartly. You have to be make sure like data should not be breached. Sensitive data you have to keep properly, right? So that's the thing that you have to be consider or keep in your mind when you use those things. Yeah, so that's all from my side for today.
Thank you, Kailash.
Thank you.
That was a very extensive explanation. Ashita, if you could please bring up the slide and thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, Kailash, for your wonderful session. So
Thank you.